Greetings and welcome, family, to another page of Magnets, Crystals, Pyramids. I'm your host, Unc Rosinson, better known as Uncle Henky. And tonight we are blessed with the presence of Diana Pharr in sharing with us the message. In addition to that, we also have our Shakti sisters who are present and also will be joining us shortly. Jerry and Amber, thank you for being with us. Jerry, if you can hear me, uh, you got to check your sound system. And Diana, you can hear me fine, right?
I certainly can.
All right, so let's do these opening advertisements and then we'll start with the show tonight. So without further ado, let us go to the video opening.
Peace family, I wanted to show you some of these great quality t-shirts that were designed by the brother Shaka. The I Am t-shirts. I am a generator, an operator, and a destroyer. Great quality t-shirts, 100% cotton. If you like one of these t-shirts, reach out to the brother Shaka at N as in Nancy, F as in Frank, N as in Nancy, Shaka at gmail.com. That's NFN Shaka at gmail.com. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Here it is, family. The best soup in Brooklyn. Prepared meticulously, exclusively by the world famous Coconut Rob. Coconut Rob, what do you have in this delicious
What did I do?
conundrum? This awesome feast of nutritious delight. Tell us what you hooked it up with.
It's a combination of a couple of things actually.
Couple. Looks like
Yeah.
a whole collage.
Nah, well, the actual base of it is the great nut and beans, great nut and white beans, and then we did it with a whole, as you would say, a conundrum of vegetables. All right, the malanga cocoa, which I like, of course. It's a root vegetable, but it's low in starch and rich in vitamin B2. So we use that and let that kind of come to a boil in the water, and then that thickens the broth. Wow. Then we use the barrel bananas, butternut squash noodles. Also, we use zucchini noodles, bell peppers, red bell peppers, green bell peppers, yellow bell peppers. And in this one in particular, we brought some both East African and West African seasonings. We used the East African seasoning called a shiro, which is usually used with like miso wet and lentils and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's added like a little bit of spice. And then we use the Ghanaian seasoning in there that's called shitsu, or shitu, actually. It's like a red bean.
Lord have
But
mercy.
this one is all vegan, of course. It's got a nice little spice to it.
Yeah, and
So-
those who are sensitive to salt, is there any salt in here?
Absolutely no salt. at
No
all.
salt.
We don't use any salt.
What days are you here?
Well, today I'm here Tuesday. Tomorrow I'll be here too, but the soup days are principally Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. But, of course, the public demands, I'm going to probably make a small one also tomorrow as well.
Excellent. And
look good?
yeah, man. What's the contact number?
Oh, 347-243-1678. And, of course, you know I'm here at Nicholas, Brooklyn.
1396 Fulton
1396
Street
Fulton
in
Street,
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn,
between
New
New York and Brooklyn Avenue. God
Absolutely.
bless the cook and the time it took.
The toppings are arugula, avocados, a mango chutney, a cucumber chutney, and culantro, or what they call shadow benny. Baby spinach and baby arugula.
Excellent. Yummy, yummy for your tummy. Family, I am here with a magical moment of young musicians. And this is Kim, Sister Kim, and she has a message about investing into the future musicians of our community. Sister Kim, tell us what you got here.
Hi everyone, Kim, proud parent of children at the Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts. We teach HBCU high stepping marching band to our kids from age 5 and up. It is a free after school program, tuitionless, and it's open to all. Our kids are amazing. If you can, jump on our website. We're looking for support, donations. Our kids need new instruments so that they can high step on. Our website is www.balaa.org, BALAA.org. And I appreciate the time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so family, listen up close. We're talking about investing in the artists of tomorrow. By investing in them, if you have a little expendable change to invest in the youth, the genius, this is the opportunity. And in the description on this video will be the details of sending your donation to PayPal or Zelle or Cash App.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for your support. Our children are the future.
All right, that's awesome. So as we continue, family, wherever you're listening from, let us know in the comments so we can post what part of the globe you're listening from. So you are active participant in this program by sharing with us where are you holding the divine light. So whatever part of the world you're listening from now and in the future, share with us because you are the one who makes the difference. Now we move on. I like this one also. I give thanks to Ms. Bliss for this so that we remember who we are.
Remember, to subscribe, share, and like this video. And magnets, crystals, pyramids, and dreamt to journey to the bliss.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I love that.
Welcome to Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids, and Journey to Bliss. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, and Ashe.
Yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Putting out a call to the warrior in you, to the healer in you, the king, the queen, the magician, the lover in you. Every single day, we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burden and anything that holds you back and take your rightful place. The battle is everywhere. It's right in your face. Let's go.
Health, love, wealth is your destiny.
All right. Let's get started, y'all. So we are listening in on Magnets, Crystals, Pyramids, and also Journey to Bliss. So for all of you who are making the comments, I just want to share it on screen for starts. Diana was asking, "Can I see the comments, please?" I was like, "You gotta wait till the show starts, Diana." So here we go. All right, Jason, peace and divinity to the family. We lit tonight, y'all. And we got Nefer Shaka. I think he's out of Dominican Republic, if I remember correctly. Yeah, boy, down in the Caribbean. And then we have an interesting name, Catch REKVID says, "Hey, mom, peace and love." Who's that, Jerry? I don't know who that might be. Anyway, uh, I am listening from Grand Rapids, Michigan. All right, peace and blessings to Cecile, and well, more blessings and more blessings. Allah Ma'at, peace and blessings to all. Denise, thank you for your words. Thank you for your words. Kem Ma'at Dawn, Kem Golden Ma'at Dawn, peace. Tuning in from Philadelphia, Denise. Kem Golden Ma'at's listening in from Georgia. Thank you, Cynthia, for being on with us. And she's listening in from Jersey. All right. And we got Emperor Ja Voom. I don't know where that might be. I think it's Virginia. Yeah, Virginia. And then we have Sean from let's see, where's this at? Sean is Shane, Atlanta, Georgia. And We got one sister. She's a little long-winded. Let's see what she got. She got a whole lot to say. Yes, I am, and yes, we are one with the creation by the way of the mighty and the majestic controllers of our abundant universe and beyond. Ashe, Amin, Aho, Alpha. Thank you very much. And we have Marte, peace and blessings. And we got Renee Freedom from South Dakota, Slim D's. Cheers, Diana. And we have Renee Freeman from South Dakota. And we got Terry Adams from Georgia. So let's bring back Amber and we'll do our quick invocation. I am in me, I am in Diana, I am in Jerry, I am in Amber, I am within the other Shakti sisters that'll be joining us shortly. I am within you, the listening audience who makes the difference. You are the Jedis of change, gods and goddesses, with or without amnesia to your true nature. We individually and collectively call upon our big brothers and sisters, ascended masters who live in the home town, the home base of love supreme, beyond the veil of our conscious dream. And they throw down the rope so we can take hold through our I am affirmations to make the change that we all desire and need. So, without further ado, I want to thank and invite gatekeeper of Mount Shasta in Northern California, entrance into the hollow earth from the leaving the rooftop life and into the home base environment of the hollow earth, Saint Germain. Want to acknowledge the latest Christ born in the Congo, Simeon Toko, who invoked an army of black angels to chase the terrorist Belgians out of the Congo. We call upon the ascended master Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba, who founded the city of Tuba, Sheikh Ibrahim. We call upon Melchizedek, Black Madonna, Mother Mary, Yeshua. We call upon great divine director Sanat Kumara, Kuthumi, Buddhas of antiquity. We call on the Lady Buddhas. Special acknowledgement to Arquette, Sister Sag, who went to Vietnam and shared with me this past summer that there are multitude of Lady Buddhas. So we want to acknowledge the Lady Buddhas. We are acknowledging the Krishnas, the Lady Krishnas. We're acknowledging Lakshmi, Kuan Yin, Goddess of Mercy. And we are going to acknowledge Enoch, the Ethiopian who ascended into the heavens and became Metatron. Thank you and welcome to the show. We call upon the angel of protection to surround our family, friends, and loved ones, Archangel Michael. Thank you and welcome. We call on the angel Gabriel, the angel of strength. Thank you and welcome to the platform. We call upon Archangel Uriel, angel of knowledge and enlightenment. Thank you and welcome. We call on the seraphim and the cherubim, and we call upon our ancient past and the countless incarnations that we may not remember. We asked, as we have our consciousness, as we stream in this boat, we look back into the wake of our past incarnations and all the characters, great and small, short and tall, good and bad, happy and sad, and we forgive them all like waves of memories echoing through the halls of time. And we say, yes, I am forgiving all souls from my past life. And yes, I ask all souls in my past lives to please forgive my characters animated through my I am wearing of that shirt of those countless projections. And most of all, yes, I am forgiving myself. And as we peel the heel of our consciousness into the here and now and look into the bow, the front of the future possibilities, unlimited opportunities, and success waiting to be manifest, we say, yes, I am forgiving all future characters, all future encounters. And I ask all future characters and all future encounters to please forgive me. And all the colorful musicians and and all the folks in this life that's still mumbling and jumbling and trying to figure it out. We forgive them because they haven't figured out how to navigate, and we forgive them for not navigating, but we also ask that they forgive us if we had to put some soup on there in their bowl and they didn't know how to hold the dish and they spilled it all over the place. So we say, yeah, we forgive you, child. We forgive you. And most of all, we forgive ourselves because we are gods. And this is a playground called reality, a holographic projection of our good, bad, and ugly. So we go like this. As we now invite the I am within you, the listening Jedis, and the I am within me. So collectively, in the spirit of Ubuntu, we are going to listen to the spoken word message of our sister Diana. And we say together, Ashe, Aho, Mahalo, Donata, Wado, Amen, Amen. So let it be spoken, so let it be done. Let's get on with this show starting now. As we have Emperor Ja, and we have, see, Diana, there's a bunch of folks listening to you, girls, almost by 50. We got Marcina in Queens. We got California, RDA 318. Oh, Agnes Free Spirit. I want to acknowledge you and also invite you this Saturday to an event happening at Nicholas Bookstore from 6 to 9 p.m. so that you can bring your spoken word poetry, and perhaps your soulmate twin can also bring in the guitar sounds. And that's happening this Saturday, Nicholas Bookstore. Ross Ben, Knowledge of the Nomo, Dragon Cosmic Connection, I'll be in the house, and also Lloyd Strayhorn. This is this Saturday. Now, next week, Monday and Tuesday, Jerry, we got an uncle, a distant cousin named Nat Turner. We want to invite him and thank him to be on the show tonight because he's right there in Virginia, not far from where Pop's people is. So they're having a gathering, a metaphysical gathering, because Prophet Nat Turner was a mystic. So if you're interested, you can go to www.natturnerlibrary.com or call 434-637-1230 and get more details. This is for October 1st through the 2nd because October 2nd is Nat Turner's birthday. He's a Libra. And without further ado, let us go into the show. Diana, how you feel? How you feel? Tell us how you
All
feel.
right. We heard you. We weren't sure you were your sound was working. Hi Jerry, how you doing, darling? I'm well, rising sun.
Mm-hmm. So what you gonna talk about tonight? Spell breaking? Because we got a bunch of spells. Oops. Let me get rid of that.
Hi, Sister Diana. I'm doing well. Good to see you.
Isn't this nice?
Mm-hmm.
This feels very cozy.
Yes, it is. I love it.
I want to thank Amber because she
It
brought her
does.
magical daughter here yesterday. We was able to do videos, and my cat Tazard, Jerry the cat, fell in love with Amber's daughter. He laid next to her, and he's like, oh, this is all I've been waiting for. So thank you, Amber. Yeah, those were sweet. People are loving those videos. Let me tell you. It's all kind of sweet comments where, Tazar was on his best behavior. So spell breaking, Diana, what is a spell? Tell us what a spell is.
Well, that's an excellent question.
Oh.
This is a big, huge topic that we can only really in one evening touch upon if we're going to make it useful to the listener that they have a takeaway. But there are, at the deepest level within ourselves, or the highest frequency that we know, that we talk about, the brain functions at gamma brainwave, where we are when we're in the zone. And I want the listener to really connect with that, what I mean by the zone, when you're so immersed with life that you forget about yourself. You may do it when you're driving, when you're cleaning house, when you're so involved in life that you forget about yourself and you're just in a state of being. In the brain, that's called gamma wave or super awareness. It's at that level that we create things like DMT, dimethyltryptamine, or things that give us alternate states of consciousness. And this is very natural. But because of the world, because of the demands of the world that we live in, many of us we don't get to partake in activities that allow us to go into what in psychology they call it flow state, being in the zone. But it's a common experience. But the demands of the world, doing what we need to do to pay our bills and take care of our families, um, it doesn't always allow people the opportunity to have those experiences. So, who we are at the highest level is we are one with God. We are one with the eternal. In the Vedas, it's described as always existing, always conscious, always bliss. Sit Chat Ananda is how that is said in Sanskrit. So that's our default state. That's who we are. That's who we truly are. Spells, and I question the use of the word spell to use it, but it really most accurately describes that state when the brain, our thinking, our awareness becomes wired in such a way that that consciousness is no longer expanding through our experiences. We can get stuck and have the same type of thoughts, the same type of feelings and emotions over and over groups. And it makes our experience of life very limited. So spells have to do with how we become wired in a particular way, how the neurons, which are nerve cells that talk to each other, and when they have the same type of conversation over and over again, it creates a communication system in our mind, and it can be very limiting. It can be very powerful, very limiting. So that's one level of, so how we're conditioned in such a way mentally that we disconnect with the deepest truth of who we are, which is one with God. And the experience of that is a very common level of what could be described as a spell. And then there are individuals who know how to manipulate emotion in such a way. There's a lot of mental manipulation going on. People um, relating to each other in such a way to trigger their fears, trigger their insecurities, relating in ways that intentionally make people feel unsure of themselves or not good about themselves, or creating shame and guilt. And this can be very powerful, particularly when a group of people um, is relating to one individual in that way. That's another type of spell. A lot of people that are very good people, that are visionary people, that are trying to do the right thing, they experience that in their work environment where they become the object of conspiracy and betrayal, where everyone turns against them. And this causes the internalization of shame and guilt and fear and insecurity. These are
Oh, this sounds like it happens in the hood all the time. All them broken souls, Diana.
it,
This is a common occurrence.
there are many, it's a very common occurrence. The other thing is that people experience is in the colored vernacular, they used to call it the devil is riding you. when you wake up. In medicine, they call it sleep apnea, when you wake up and you're unable to move, um, or or the bed shaking. Incubus and succubus are also very common occurrences where people wake up and the presence of an entity is with them and engaging with them sexually.
Yeah, I wanted
Um,
to, Diana. I just want to share this clip because we touched on it briefly last night, and what you're sharing tonight is so crucial for the healing that so many of us have misdirected use of that boneless organ called the tongue. And I got to put this up. So listen, family.
Never underestimate the power of the spoken word.
yes.
Words cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. What you say is what you get. So on this beautiful Monday, we're going to speak wealth, health, prosperity, generosity, and kindness. Repeat after me. I feel amazing. I feel wonderful. I feel grateful to be alive.
Mm.
I am grateful for my hands, my feet, my eyesight, my tongue, my teeth. I am grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am grateful that my income is constantly increasing. My money making ideas are constantly increasing. I am a generous person. Put out kind energy, positive energy, and I receive it back.
Yeah. So what you touching on, Diana, is so in need of healing today, because our folks have gone astray. Lord it knows, Lord it knows. So here you got the mic back. I'm backing up.
Thank you, Rising Sun. Rising Sun does this rhyming thing, and I was talking to him recently on the phone, and I started rhyming. But these are things that are common, as Rising Sun said, they are common, and they create a experience of consciousness that can devastate a life. And that should be put into context that right now we're in a space-time cycle in the world where there is less intimacy and connectivity between people. And the other spell or mental condition that is very, very common really comes in the narrative of how we've begun to talk about and think about our relationships with each other and the types of belief systems that are attached to that. What is a relationship? What is the role of a man? What is the role of a woman? And they're really there. And the truth is that human, or the history is, or at least a part of the history, because all of us, whatever we know is limited as compared to what could be known. But part of the history is that there have been if we're going to talk about spell and conditioning and orientation in terms of how we identify in that area of our life, human beings over millennia have had many different ways of shaping their society and many different ways of identifying or structuring what the role of the individual, male or female, is within that culture. There are societies that have been matriarchal. There are societies that have been patriarchal. There have been societies where all of the people within a certain age group were spouses to each other. There have been polyandrous societies. There have been polygamous societies. There, we have lived over space and time under many different types of configurations. But right now, the spell that concerns me most in that arena that I've been observing is the spell of rightness, the spell of identifying a group of people of being right or a right way, and another group of people as being wrong, or another gender as being wrong. When the thing that is most inhibiting our ability to build successful relationships is has to do with very basic things. Our ability to connect with each other, which needs to be predisposed by our connection with ourselves. That people who are able to have satisfying, healthy, productive relationships are in general male or female, people who have that within themselves. And even greater than that, that they are connected to the divine within them. That sets up the predisposition for healthy relationships. So intimacy and our ability to connect has been undermined by the degrees of what I'm calling this evening spells, but the degrees of ways of thinking and conditioning consciousness and awareness right now that makes it very difficult. That, that we're all this is a challenge that we're all experiencing right now. And there are organizational entities in the world that make this even more difficult. But back to how do you I want to get back to the brain and how we operate and what consciousness is. From the perspective of, there are many different definitions of consciousness, and since actually the 1930s, there's been a tremendous amount of research in the scientific community on consciousness that for many reasons hasn't made its way into the mainstream. So I'm talking from an alchemical perspective. Consciousness is intelligent movement, and awareness is the perception of that movement, that everything is moving, or in alchemy, everything is vibrating. But it's doing it in an orderly manner, and that orderly matter gives rise to form, gives rise to life, gives rise to the movement beneath nature, the intelligence within nature, gives rise to the ordering all of these infinite amount of organisms that we see in the natural world, including ourselves. And that intelligence is beyond thought and emotion. It's outside of thought and emotion. It's like bees. If you've ever seen bees function, they can create a unified consciousness, and they're all working together. They're all working together. This happens in many places in nature. It's called morphic resonance, that they can connect with a few of that intelligence and interact towards a common goal together. Human beings have this ability also. Indigenous people used the drum and music to create that unified consciousness so that the group could function as one. So consciousness, so that's consciousness and awareness, intelligent movement. That is creative, and it is also destructive. But when something's destructive, it's just something else trying to become born, because life is eternal. But that consciousness, that field of consciousness, when we do something, and this is the takeaway that I want people listening to take away this evening. When you engage in that consciousness, when you do something that takes you into the zone, you're functioning at a level of consciousness you're functioning at a level of brain wave that you transcend spell. That's how you break spell. You break spell by operating in consciousness at such a high frequency. And it has many names. And this is a common experience. The people listening can respond in the chat if I say, what do you do that takes you into the zone where your creative consciousness transcends language, where you're just moving creatively and productively? This is not an unusual experience. People know when I say in the zone or in the flow. Do you not know what I mean? You know, rising sun, you spend a great deal of time in that space, in flow state and gamma wave, creating, being creative. In the point of creativity, you're trained, you're in the intelligence beyond emotion and thought. And I want to go back to that if you know, but not right now. But the takeaway is that we're living in a time where, because of how we were raised, the space time we were born into, the circumstances of our parents, the educational system, the media, all of the things that shaped the lens that we see the world through. And then there are spells that are created by how society has organized itself. Marketing and advertising creates ideas, social media. These are all things that shape awareness, that shape consciousness and awareness. And these things, these spells, these types of thinkings are very powerful, and we have to own that we're all subject to them because they permeate the environment. They're all around us. Things that present, that misrepresent themselves. Someone can, for instance, the monarchy. Can we talk about the monarchy? The monarchy represents themselves as leaders of a very particular type, divinely ordained. But the history of Western monarchs, or monarchs in general, they've created tremendous human suffering. King Leopold murdered millions of people in the Congo. You know, the degree of coveting, land and destroying culture and all of the horrific things that have been done, but presenting these things as though they were good things. Do you see the spell, in terms of how our minds have been? There's a lot going on here. It's very busy, rising sun. There are a lot of bells and whistles happening here. Do you hear it? There's a lot of Salam, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Your speaker is the only one catching the sounds, Diana. Everybody else is muted out.
Oh, and because I'm speaking. Okay, well, I'll do the best I can.
Well, since you asked me, I want to bring it down. I mean, because you're giving a planetary overview of spell breaking, because we've been going through spells. The invention of racism for the purpose of dividing up people to distract them from the real landowners and the monarchy that is actually running everything, and it's not the president, it's not the politicians, it's the landowners and the five secret families in this particular country. But it has cascaded down to the workplace that women and men go into workplaces, and there's a potential for spells by the collective consciousness of ignorant energies that may be racist. What kind of stones can women carry? What kind of crystals can men carry to deflect a spell attempt, if you may, please?
Well, I have one of my favorites in my hand. This is just a piece of clear quartz. And the foundation of the practice is breath. The life force within breath, prana, chi. Clear quartz is oxygen and silica. And everyone should have one. Some of the things like obsidian, the black stones are most recently cited as being very helpful for protection. And these things have their use. Clear quartz is wonderful because, going back to my original premise, the basis of protecting your consciousness and your awareness is what you're transmitting, what the brain is transmitting, what brain wave you function at. And to go and the most powerful, that is the most powerful. The stones can help you get there, can help you arrive at a higher frequency. In terms of what can get you there, I would really say that Rising Sun, many of the things that you have most recently created are very helpful in terms of getting someone there, getting someone there. So, and I've asked Rising Sun on several occasions to talk more about the things that he's been working on. But in terms of these are tools and facilitators, but I really want people to grasp what brainwave does, what brainwave is, how powerful it is. Another thing that's very powerful is electrolytes, our minerals, potassium, calcium, chlorine. Electrolytes oscillate in such a way, and electrolytes are just minerals. They oscillate in a particular way that creates electricity in the body. There are other things that create electricity in the body. But, I want to make this simpler. Think of the human condition. We're transmitters of energy. If we're no longer transmitting energy, if there's no electrical current or chi or life force moving through your body, then the body breaks down, and then your life force goes to another dimension. So we're transmitters. What makes us vulnerable to mental manipulation, and even cases where it's actually casting of spells through nefarious practices. For us to engage in that which we came here to do, that's what's going to put you at the highest frequency. When you're engaged in being true to yourself, when you're engaged in, when you're cultivating love in your life, beyond seeking romantic connection, just love in general as a frequency. And love is not When alchemists speak of love, it's not referring to feeling an emotion. It is referring to flow state and being in the zone, being at that frequency. If you recall when you've been in that state, if you remember, you notice that you were beyond your thinking, you were beyond thought, you were beyond emotion. When you're at that frequency, when you engage in activities, whatever it is for you, for me it's writing and sometimes teaching. For Rising Sun, it's being in the lab and riding his bike and connecting people within the community. For some people, it's art. For some people, it's singing. It could be something simple. It could be cleaning your house. It could be cooking your favorite meal. It could be taking a long bath. It's different for everyone, but whatever takes you out of that space, flow state, that flow state is a biophysiological event. It's not just something that we're experiencing being in the zone. It changes how our hormones function. It takes us out of fight and flight, which I talk about a great deal, being in the sympathetic nervous system. And I want to stress to all of you how powerful you are. That it's because these distractions are triggering us, and they're all over the place, because right now the pursuit of the material and how much energy, mental energy of our lives is invested in that is one of the most powerful spells that we're subject to. It diverts our attention from things that are accessible to us, that can give us fulfillment and make us happy, that we are able to do. And even for those of us that are winning at that game in a way that disconnects us from the deepest truth of who we are, one with God. It's a trick. You can't win at that game. You can't win at the game at compromising who you are to sustain yourself in this world. It's a trick. So I'm saying something very simple, that for all it's gotten so, Rising Sun and I go back a long way. I'm a little older than he is, but we've known each other for probably 40 years, or at least we were acquaintances, and over the last 10 years, there's something that happens in the world that you see over time, that I've seen occur over time, when something rises up in the spirit of the people. The last time I saw it, that it was very powerful, was 9/11. When 9/11 happened, I live in New York, and the people began to connect with each other. Can I talk about that? There became a message of fear. People were trying to connect and support each other. And if people think back, the media started running on a nightly basis. How do you feel about the loss of your civil liberties? They weren't saying that, but they were saying, are you comfortable being searched? Yeah. And people were saying, yes, if that makes me safe, yes, But what was happening was that an event had happened that broke up the crystallization in the culture, where people were able to connect in truth. And that power, because when the collective consciousness unites, when we're all feeling something emotionally together, that's a very powerful thing for human beings to be able to experience together. Other entities came in and started directing that energy towards fear. In the 50s, in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, a movement rose up in this country. It was called New Age. It was truly a spiritual movement. At that time, they were doing research on psychedelics at Harvard. And then Timothy Leary got carried away and he lost his tenure at Harvard and they asked him to leave. But there was all types of experiment and consciousness going on. And people were talking about ways to create more humane ways of living. That was the beginning. And then people were also drawing from some of the Western systems that people like Blavatsky had created. Blavatsky was the Golden Dawn. She was a mystic. The Rosicrucians, right? Some of the more, those organizations, and they really, so there it was rather counterculture, but it was very spiritually centered. Over a lifetime, I saw that turn into a focus on not self-realization, not enlightenment, not restoring the magic of what it is to be a human being, not love, compassion, kindness, and understanding. That got eclipsed by how do I use consciousness to manipulate it to fulfill my material desires, which having material wants, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but when that has become so large that our attention on what truly makes us happy as human beings is lost, when our models are things that we know do not make us happy. The research has already told us, there's a tremendous amount of research that's been done on what makes us happy. Human beings, after we get enough food, we have shelter, we have clothing, we have friendships, we have compassion, we have companionship. After we have those things, community, being able to celebrate and be together. And these are the things, we don't need billions of dollars to make us happy. Searching for a type of happiness that's less community centered, out of collective love for each other, into who's winning, who's the one that is the best, who has the most money. That's a very recent occurrence. We haven't been doing that, for thousands of years. Happiness was very wired and orientated to be a part of the community. In fact, your very survival in the wild depended upon it. You had to be a part of a community of a people in order to live, in order to survive. And we're very much wired to do so. So this spell, this orientation, it's very nuanced. Let's take the ancient wisdom and turn that around. Let's take our understanding of consciousness and awareness and love and compassion and take the collective minds of people and have them invest their energy in achieving things that more than likely they will not be able to achieve. Most people are not going to become wealthy and famous within their life. And it's not a necessity to be happy. So the things that the ancients left for us, the things that we've been doing for millions of years that make us happy is much more accessible to us. Even people that achieve, if people like old American money, like the Carnegies, the Astors, people during the Industrial Revolution that created great wealth that gave way for the society in which we live and the types of things that were created. It's like Rockefeller wrote a document and presented it to Congress, and used his money to manipulate Congress in such a way that herbology, which was once taught in medical schools here in the United States, could no longer be taught, because he came up with the idea that if he could systemically control pharmaceutics, and if doctors peddled that was great profit. And it's still being done today with Bill Gates' most recent appeal that our food is so monetized that it's no longer food, that you have to take even organic food and put so many chemicals on it so that it lasts. What Bill Gates has created, a peel food. You take an apple and put it in a gas chamber and put all kinds of chemicals on it so an apple could stay on the shelf and not spoil for 6 months or for an extended period of time. It's the same mentality. And these people these thinkings are behind the systems of the society in which we live, including the education system, including the health system, the legal system. So all of these things have formed spells. When I was a little girl, I how many of us grew up giving our allegiance to a country, that if you looked a certain way, legislated against your best interest. Am I going off too far? So we're immersed and conditioned by all of these things, what I've mentioned in many, many, many more things. And it distracts us from the magic of our humanity and being able to live in a way that life conspires on our behalf and takes care of us. That we all have that capability. We have that available to us. That how do we behave in such a way that we're able to be ourselves? What we used to be moving towards, self-realization, was about liberation, freedom from emotional despair, fear, lack. Liberation gives us these things. I live a simple life, but I do me. I'm a writer and a teacher. That is what I do. I am not a wealthy woman. And interesting enough, that's what I did professionally in corporate America. I was a fundraiser. That's what I did for a living before. When I was a younger woman, I was a sponsorship specialist. So I know how to go into the world and interact with corporations and raise large sums. I know how to do that. I have to live a certain way to do that. So I want you to know that you can be free, and you can step out of the bondage that robs us of our happiness and our well-being and our ability to establish friendships. These spells have us betraying each other and competing with each other, and not being able to have healthy friendships, let alone healthy, loving relationships. We advocate for the school system and not our children. A system that is out of sync with how children development. So the short of it is that right now we're in the Dwapar Yuga. We're in a dark time. We're just scratching. We're just moving. There's a lot online and social media about this is a time of light and all of that. It's not. It's not true. This is not a golden age. In the golden age, we built the pyramids. In the golden age, the societies, the cultures that existed on Earth were connected to the cosmos. Human beings were naturally telepathic, and we're not moving into that. What we are is just at the beginning of scratching ourselves out of darkness. Just scratching ourselves out of that. And part of the manipulation is to convince us that the one who makes the most money, the one who gets the most attention, the one who most visual, that these are our role models that we should emulate. We don't have eldership, and we don't, and our children don't feel protected. Protecting children has an energy. When I was growing up, I never went to bed without prayer over my head. There was an environment that I felt in my home that was different than when I was in the world, that made me feel like I had some place to go when I needed to feel safe. And our children are, the spell that they're casting now on our children, our very young children, around their sexuality and whether, and what that is and what that means. And, the government should not, it's not even a matter of whether or not that's right or wrong. It's a matter of, that's not a conversation that's supposed to be going on in the early childhood classroom. It's none of their business. They don't get to choose that for you, for your child. You as a parent should not even have to defend what you morally believe to the school system. That's a spell that they had, spells that, all of these things, like the Republicans want to reframe Social Security, where after you've worked all your life and you've contributed to your Social Security, you're supposed to feel like you're being a bad person for wanting your Social Security after you have worked all your life for it. That's how they're framing it. That's a spell. That's a lie. Social Security is not giving away money, and we give millions and billions of dollars to corporations. Other countries, you pay taxes. The government creates a healthcare system. You go to the doctor. Here, you pay taxes. They give that money to private corporations, and then you still have to pay them over again in a premium, and then you have to pay again when you go to the doctor. Why? And the reason why, and it's framed in such a clever way, it's spelled in such a clever way that, it's confusing. Is a senior, every year we've got to go through Part A, Part B, Medicare, AB. It's all of this paperwork that's exhausting to figure out what your health care should be. And when you're in your 70s and 80s, it's task intensive. It's just too much. And then you go to the doctor, and then you still find out that even though you've been paying on a monthly basis, what you need now, well, it's not covered, and you still get a bill. The reason why we tolerate these things is that we've been exhausted mentally. So it's easy to cast spells upon us where what does not make sense Seems as though it does. So again, people can contact me and get the movements of the practice. The practice is a system by which you learn, you remember, not learn, you remember how to once again be one with God through breath, space, slowing down to your own rhythm is very, very important. Space also regulates our circadian rhythm, our relationship with light and dark. Light comes in through the eye to the optic nerve in the brain. That regulates all of your biology, your central nervous system, all of that, how we should be calibrated to nature. These are the things that we begin to transmit, different higher thoughts, that we begin to create our lives around the deepest truth of who we are. And we don't have to do it alone. That we begin to understand that we are not alone, that the eternal, that which is eternal, dwells within us and we dwell within that. And that it operates in a way that's empirical, that's real, that you can really connect with it. And all of the things, the spells, getting your minerals in, healthy diet, all of those things are important because they help the temple, the body, to connect with the higher thoughts. So you're not, so that when that all of this, that it's like, this maybe this isn't for me. Maybe it isn't for me. It's not popular. And and another thing I'd like to clear up is this thing on manifestation. Manifestation is not something you have to learn how to do. It's impossible not to manifest. It's impossible not to manifest. Our very nature is to convert energy into the material, which in itself is an illusion, but that's another conversation. What stands between us and our heart's desire is not recognizing and identifying the meaning and what we are manifesting and learning from it, and that frees us from bondage. Who you are, what's going on in your life, what you have already manifested that may or may not be to your liking. There's a reason. Your consciousness is connected to what you are manifesting and sustaining. And when you look at it from that way, when you look at your life from that way, why was I a motherless child? Why am I having difficulty with finances? Why is this health challenges repeat? When you look at it from that way and approach it from the perspective of it has meaning for you, it has something to teach you, then what you manifest changes. The more we do that, the more the life begins to shape around who you are and support who you are, because that's how this dimension operates. So people can reach out to me for the practice, the movements of the practice. I created a document specifically for Rise and Sun Show, and I want to make it even simpler.
You ain't getting off that free. No, we didn't get down to the black tourmaline on the waistline. We didn't get down to putting black tourmaline in your environment, because we got a problem out here, and I'm just lining up the little shorts. But you know what? I will put up the banner as far as folks getting in touch with you, Diana. Hold on a second. I'm glad you mentioned it. But you ain't going nowhere just yet, because that was a planetary overview, which was real sweet. But we're going to get down to the nitty gritty as far as technique.
Rise and Sun, you jump on.
Hold on, Diana.
You've got some stuff that you've created that is wonderful in helping people to raise their frequency and get more rest. One of my colleagues that
Diana, can I get your email again for people to reach you?
D is in David,
Okay, hold on a second. Let me make sure. D
P
Pharr
is in Peter,
at
H is in Harry, A is in Apple, R is in Run, 8 at AOL.com.
oh, okay, hold on. I've got to put that 8 in there. D Pharr 8 at AOL.com.
Only one R.
Only one R. Okay, thank you for letting me see that there. Hold on. All right, here we go.
You know, one of the bracelets that you recently did, some of the reports from some of the people that I work with that are wearing them have reported that, and I don't want to shout out their names, that's not for me to do, but have reported, and this person has a job that has a great deal of responsibility, they do a lot of mental work, that they're able to sleep. And sleep is very important because when we go to delta wave is when you go into deep dreamless sleep. And it's there and it's at delta wave that the glymphatic nervous system clears up the debris in your brain, and where neuroplasticity, new neurons could be created. The old science was they thought that you were born with all the neurons, and as you grew older, you didn't rewire. You couldn't rewire the mind. That you were conditioned during the first, 5 to 12 years of your life, and that was who you were, and it was unchangeable. But they now know that neuroplasticity exists throughout the life. So if you're wired, if you have habits that are self-defeating, things that even though you know is not in your best interest, and you can't help but do them, you keep doing things that, or you're finding it difficult to do things that you would like to do. It's not just a lack of discipline, it's this your brain has been wired. You've been conditioned to behave in a certain way through repetition, through doing the same thing. And along with engaging in activity that helps you achieve theta, creative wave, that's where creativity and healing happens. Gamma, super awareness. You also need to rest and go into sleep. Delta brain wave level where the brain has restorative rest. And a lot of people no longer experience that. They're really just in alpha, which is they're awake, halfway in beta, your cognitive rational thought, and they're thinking while they're sleeping. They're thinking and then they wake up and they're not rested.
Yeah, so on that note, I want to share this video because we have to become responsible like other cultures become responsible for their music that the children listen to. Family, listen to this closely.
Tells you that the tongue holds life or death. It do. Let's think about it. You can essentially speak life or death over your temple, over your crown, through the words that you speak. Yeah. Now, y'all do understand that music is spelled. Bring it out. Stay with me.
Okay? This is who John Rockefeller is.
John D. Rockefeller was once the richest man in America. He created the company Standard Oil. Now we call it Mobil. But when he started, he was just a poor boy in his 20s who was refining oil in Cleveland, Ohio. Rockefeller was approached by railroad magnate Cornelius Vanderbilt, who was looking for someone to fill his trains with oil. And Vanderbilt thought he could outsmart this young Rockefeller and make a cheap deal. But Rockefeller got the last laugh. Rockefeller went on to sell oil all over the country on every train line, way outpacing Vanderbilt. By 33 years of age, John Rockefeller was the most powerful man in the country. In the end, Rockefeller owned 90% of America's oil supply and owned almost every oil refinery in the country. When he died, he was worth $150 million. That's $250 billion today.
Okay, now this is how he hijacked. This dude was a diabolical. Now this was a Sith Lord.
Around the same time that John D. Rockefeller seized U.S. media, he also hijacked U.S. medicine.
Yes.
When it was discovered that drugs could be produced from petroleum, America's top oil mogul ordered his army of propagandists to invert reality accordingly. Medicines used for thousands of years were suddenly classified as alternative, while the new, petroleum-based, highly addictive, and patentable drugs were declared the gold standard. After buying the German pharmaceutical company that manufactured chemicals of war for Adolf Hitler, Rockefeller leveraged his political influence by pressing Congress to declare natural healing modalities unscientific quackery. Rockefeller then took control of the American Medical Association and began offering massive grants to top medical schools under the mandate that only his approved curriculum of the healing powers of herbs, plants, and diet was erased from most medical textbooks. Doctors and professors who objected to Rockefeller's plan were crucified around the same time.
Okay, this is the kind of energy we're dealing with.
You know, I've been thinking lately, maybe a lot of the world's problems, society's problems, goes back to this man, John D. Rockefeller. We all know him, an American business magnate. People say he's a part of the beep. I'm not going to say the word. People say he's a part of secret societies, all this. I'm not going to talk about that. Let's look at the facts. He set up the General Education Board in 1902 in America, influencing the American education system forever, donating $1 million in 1902. And since then, the family has donated hundreds of millions to that fund. And look at this quote. I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. Because the thing is, it's very easy to control the workers. It's very difficult to control people who think. So have a think about that for a while, if you can. You know, I've been thinking
And
lately.
listen to this.
A lot of the world's problems, society's problems.
Hold on. Let me stop it. Hold on a second.
We all know him, an American business.
Let me stop that. This is something. Listen to Martin Luther King say this, Diana.
This is wonderful, Rising Sun.
Turned into a nightmare. That dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. That dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare.
Okay. And then he got smoked. But getting back to the biggest problem is the black on black in the community, the black on black crime. And not so, well, I'm not even talking about the physical part. Let's talk about the part that broken-hearted, wounded souls cast acoustical spells on each other because they are so busted up that the only way they can get a feel good about themselves is to castigate someone that they know, whether it's a family member or someone in the community, or even anybody who comes up with something creative. You know, the broken family members or the ones in the public school system, they will literally cast spells. How do we break spells? And one of the things I'm going to say, family, get that black tourmaline. Women, you got to protect your waistline. And brothers, we got to protect our heart line. Men got to protect their hearts. Women, you got to protect your waistline, because the way your magnetic polarity is, you take in those spells from those ratchet, broken souls through your womb, through your yoni. Okay? It don't matter if this is in the conscious community or outside. And ladies, you better put black tourmaline around your waistline. And men, you got to protect your hearts. Put that black tourmaline around your neck. And that's a fact, Jack. So I just wanted to touch on that because, I got fired up, especially finding that one with Martin Luther King. We don't even see that often where he says, oops, I messed up. It's a nightmare. When have you heard that? Anybody in the chat?
Son, I'd like to see what the can I see the chat?
Oh yeah, it's right there. You want me to put it on the screen?
Well, I'm unable to see it.
Oh, okay. Here you go. This is big facts from Jeffrey Bay. He said, Zodiac Constitution, universal, can't escape divine principles. We all abide in it. Motherless child, childless indigenous mothers. Somebody said, I missed it. Another person said, wow. What? Another person. And another person said, this needs to be known. And we got more comments. Never heard of it till now. All right. Kwame says statehood. Asat said yes. So these are just some of the comments, Just
I just wanted to see if anyone had any questions that I would respond to. So, um, people can, again, the basic practice is a system. My work is restoring the magic to your humanity. It's a system. The source material for basic practice is the Kabbalion. The interesting thing about the Kabbalion, and many people are familiar with that, I use that as my primary text for years. The Kabbalion talks about the magic, but it doesn't translate the movements into how to put them into action. So that's what the basic practice is. It's a translation of those principles that many of you are, this audience, many of you are probably already familiar with. If you email me, I've created a document, and I really want to make it shorter, that I will send to you. Those of you that are interested in the energetic work, the energetic work, the group is this month. I host an alchemy group on a monthly basis. This month we're doing the work of autumn. October is the harvest time of year is also, well, October, wherever we are in the sacred geometry in October will expand out into the incoming year, whatever personal month you're in, wherever you are in space time in October for that month, you will be under that frequency for the entire incoming year. So October is the time to identify what is coming up in your life that energetically you can work with and resolve to clear the way to have so that you are in alignment with the incoming year. So we do that through many ways. This month we'll be working with moving the eternal energy. Alchemy is a mental craft. It requires that we learn how to move, travel, and regulate our emotions consciously with a goal of union, divine union. That is what the goal is. So the group is very modestly priced. There's a donation for it, but it's very modest. And those people who, in terms of how do I get to that frequency, the 7 movements that are sourced from the Kabbalion, describe how you do that, so people can email me, and I'll be more than happy to forward that to you, or have someone forward that to you. The person that has been assisting me is getting ready to travel, so I'm a little behind in things, but eventually, it'll be sent out. This month's group is actually, group is the first Sunday of the month. Alchemy group is the first Sunday of the month, so that is it, beloved. Although Rising Sun, you've brought up videos that correlated to what I said, you did all of that, and you're still not sharing the information on the things that you have created that can assist people in this process.
In due time. What I'm sharing tonight is simple things that people can use, and we're having an event with Kafunya, who's also in the audience because she's on another program at the moment. She says she's wrapping up with Ross Ben, and I invited them also to come because we're talking about remedies this Saturday at Nicholas Bookstore from 6 to 9 p.m. Ross Ben is going to be presenting his book, and I'm going to share with you simple remedies as far as activating a crystal. Just start basic stuff. But the thing I want to share right now is that the powers that be want to create division for the purpose of rulership. And you need to see this here that's happening now. This is a scene here that happened in Kentucky. I want y'all to hear this.
We have created an environment of hate, and then we look at them like there's something wrong with them. First you hated black people, then you hated Jews, now you're hating everybody. So the question is, when it's the only people left are you, will you hate yourself? Power concedes nothing. This house is for the people, by the people, to serve the people, and you won't listen. You go after everybody's kids but your own. You make hate the way to go as long as it's not applied to you. None of us said we would come here and hurt people, and yet you make trades and policy so your bills can be heard. You go against the people of this state. This is a horrible, horrible session. This bill is horrible because it has nothing to do with the people. We have created an environment of hate, and then we look at them like there's something wrong with them. First you hated black people, then you hated Jews, now you're hating everybody.
Rising Sun, please.
When it's the only people
I'm trying to shut it off now.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so this is the environment, this is the turf. So everybody who is sensitive, you need to have protection down here, because as Diana Pharr says, this is Kali Yuga, Jack. We're not in the new age. We're in the dark ages of a prison planet, chicken farm rulership of a planet, and doing your I am affirmations to protect you, asking Archangel Michael to surround you and your children and homeschool. Don't put them in the public cesspool. This is what because the broken children will break your child before you are made. So these are some of the remedies. We got to break spells energetically before they become acoustic, because every person that has a little light that shine, from Diana Pharr, Jerry, Salam, Amber, you, the listening audience, Kafunya, you're surrounded by broken souls, broken hearts, living in a dysfunctional junkyard, sliding on chicken grease, and you have to protect yourself at all times. So ask Archangel Michael to protect you before you go to sleep. Surround your home with I am affirmations to surround you and protect you from the ignorant, misdirected thoughts and feelings of broken souls collectively living in the urban areas. Look at Philadelphia, look at Baltimore, look at Chicago, look at LA. These are broken spirits made diabolically by the powers that be. But you have to raise your frequency first by shielding and then projecting. So that's why I say protection, projection, and manifestation. But the biggest thing is our I am affirmations. You call on Archangel Michael to put his foot up people's butt when they don't treat you right, and use it with a black tourmaline, obsidian, fluorite, amazonite, and you can get these pieces, around in crystal stores. And then if you want some high-end bazookas, that's when you check with me, because I am a crystal gun shop. But Diana, I had to say it. I just got to back up now.
Nobody. Well, I thank you for the invitation, for the space. And I think it's time for me to say goodnight. So
ask the ladies who are sitting here with us, do you have a question, Amber or Salam or anybody in the chat, before we close out?
Yes, absolutely. If someone has a question, I would definitely respond to.
Once, going twice. Jerry, you got any questions for Diana? Oh, hold on. Let me see if I get Jerry off of unmute. Yeah, I can't unmute her. All right. Can you put? Oh, thank you. Post Diana's information. I thought I did. Pardon me. Here it is. Here. Yeah, that was very important.
Well, I don't want to stay much longer, but I don't know, maybe I think I've said enough.
Well, thank you,
I've said enough.
Salam. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, the listening audience, and most of all, thank you, Diana, because you definitely put me in a healing trance with your acoustical um, Shakti. I appreciate your tones because I was sitting here going into trance. So that's why I faded back here like this because it's so relaxing to hear your voice. And it's
Thank you.
soothing. And then I was like, wait a minute. And then that's when I sprung forward. So pardon my passion on this full moon cycle. Diana, one thing I ask, um, what is this? What kind of moon are we in right now? What kind of full moon energy should we be mindful of?
What is the sun in?
We're in
Libra.
Libra.
So the full moon is Aries. The full moon is always in the opposite side, the sun in. There are exceptions, but in general, it should be Aries.
You're right. Wow. You're right. You're right. I just pulled it up. So in this Aries energy, uh, what should we be mindful of in just a simple overview?
Well, the movement. Full moon is high tide. Water on this planet is a very dominant element, and our bodies have a lot of water. The planet has a lot of water, and water is very receptive to the environment. Water is a conduit, and so whatever the conditions are in that area of our life, in the area of our life, Aries rules over beginnings, your head, to some degree, where how you direct your energy. It's ruled by Mars, very active. It also rules over our ability to act. It also rules over anger, the warrior within us, right?
Greetings.
Nation, all of those things are Aryan also. So that already exists within this. How are you, dear?
I am thankful if you're addressing me. I'm thankful.
I am. We've been in each. I know that we know each other. It's been a long time, but
But it's the right time.
It is. It's always. But back to the question is that whatever that energy is, whatever sign the full moon is in, it's going to evoke that from the environment. So full moon in Aries can evoke action. It can also evoke conflict. It is the tide. It is the high tide. Invocation is, I'm going to do a piece on invocation in general, because it is a power that's very closely associated with the human condition, and we're all evoking. When we're able to shift from seeing the environment happening to us to connecting to what we're invoking from the environment around us, it's very empowering. Then we're able to shift our environment. Magic and alchemy happens in the present. It doesn't happen in the way this conversation about intention and setting something and focusing on it and it happening at some future point. That's not how Alchemy happens in the moment. You change the energy. You actively change the energy. You use the elements to change, work with energy. So when the full moon comes, or just when whatever at any time, not just full moon time, but our a important moment in the restoration of the magic of our humanity is when we make that connection, when we rather than say this person is always like that we are able to connect with the stillness inside of ourselves and see a change in our environment. And that happens in the moment. That's not happening when we talk about, because you know creativity is part of our divinity. It's when we are involved in creative process that we generate the energy that opens up pathways that allows us to live and be ourselves in the world, to experience liberation. It happens in the present because we live in the eternal now. And doing affirmations on the same frequency that created the lack is in general not effective.
Word sound power.
Yes.
Word sound power for real.
So, and it's accessible to us. We have, I don't know if other people are feeling very warm right now. People feeling heat. When I was growing up, that used to be a joke. When people of color gathered together, we created heat, and we do. And what is heat but energy? Rising, so they're talking about breaking spells. I've been encouraging him for the longest. He's been doing this work with creating an atmosphere that helps protect us from 5G. When we get together and dance all night, it may be hard for an individual to sit down in meditation and move themselves into the intelligence beyond their thought and motions. But when we get together and beat the drum and dance all night and dance until we're in a trance, in the morning, let the older women cook, let the men go out and get the ice and be together. Those cultural practices are very, very important. We're working 7 days a week now. We need to set aside time that's just to connect, friends and family, listen to music, food. It is how we self-care. It's how we maintain our mental health. That takes us into a higher frequency when we're surrounded by love. Our children, let them dance. Oh, look, he looks just like Uncle so and so. Oh my God, oh girl, who made the potato salad? We need that. We need that. We need a couple of Sundays of that. We need what we need now. My balance, what we need now most is each other and the intelligence of our ancestors. Colored people knew how to get through stuff that even though it's very difficult now. I mean, you look up and it's constantly some horrific thing happening to a person of color in the news. But in the post-slavery environment, the people that raised me, colored people, you know, they created a culture that had all of the alchemical dynamics within it to survive and maintain their well-being. And we loved each other. I could have never imagined as a girl all of this anger between the genders right now. And I have the receipts. You want the receipts? That we used to love each other. Listen to R&B from the 50s and the 60s. When a man loves a woman, if you let me, I can be a man. It was just yesterday that we were loving each other, and I mean loving each other. I mean, brothers, masterful lovers. All of this anger that's happening now, I didn't grow up in that. I didn't go, I grew up when Black men were smooth and strong.
Well, do you think that was like a part of the agenda?
This didn't happen naturally. Oh yeah,
Right.
absolutely. This didn't happen. I'm glad you said that. Thank you for saying that, because this didn't have the fact that the music changed, and the things that we created, as Maya Angelou says, that still we rise, that we kept whatever we were given, we kept culturalizing it, and
Right.
and creating something that fed us and nurtured us and made us happy. All of those, and like the Kentucky Wall Street, all of the industry that we built, forces came in to annihilate.
Exactly.
You know,
Because
you
at
know,
the same time, it was like a love-hate relationship. First you say, oh, you're lazy, you're this, you're that, you're an animal, and this, that. In the meantime, we invented so many things
and built the economy.
And now listen, for me, they're parasites and they have to leave the planet. It might look like gloom and doom right now, but within my heart and soul, I feel like Mother is not taking the crap anymore. And it's goodbye. And it's up to us, because when I say us, you've given your power away. When I say you, most of the population has given their power away to an illusion. And then when shit happens, then they say, oh, but you can reclaim back your power, man. You can reclaim it back. And you don't have to be like, oh, I'm helpless. All you have to do is think like I am. And whatever comes after I am, that is sending out resonance into the whole planet and beyond in the universe. What is this thing of being like helpless that you can't do anything? One person can change a reality.
Yes. Yes.
One person can do that. And once you make a decision, it is so true. Once you make a decision, heaven and earth comes to your aid. Your ancestors come to your aid. It is so true. It has nothing to do with woo-woo. Thoughts create reality. We were never taught that. But now that we know, we're going to be mindful of what we're thinking about and how we're speaking, because there's power in the tongue. You're either going to bring positivity or negativity. You're going to either lift someone up or bring them down. You know what I'm saying? So, come on, people. We got this. And especially the divine feminine, the God is, because we the ones that bring the life here. And once we get into our power, and it doesn't take the whole nation, just like it's like so-called 1% of the powers that should not be, there's also on the other side of the coin. So this pendulum is definitely swinging backwards. That's what I have to say.
I am starting to slide, rising sun. I'm going to say good night.
Thank you, my sister, and please, 1,000.
Oh, it's good. I'm not sure where I know you from, but I know I've been in your presence, and it's good
From
to see
Unc Rising Sun's events.
Yeah, and I want to put this up just as before you go, Diane. I want to put this up because I know you could fly quick, but I want to just share this in for your words, because we got to leave us with words of hope.
Yes.
Even hope.
Stop forcing other people to feel you're worth it. You gotta start letting people miss out on you until they're looking for you on other people and realize there's nobody like them. Nobody who saw them like you did. You can't keep blaming yourself for other people's inability to see you. And that's just real. Stop forcing other people to feel you're worth it. You gotta start letting people miss out on you until they're looking for you on other people and realize there's nobody like you. Nobody who saw them like you did. You can't keep blaming yourself for other people's inability to see you. And that's just real. Stop forcing other people to feel you're worth it. You
I
gotta
just
start letting people miss out on you.
I just want to
until
put
they're
that
looking
up.
for you on
Hold on
other
a second.
people
Pardon me
and realize
for the overview. Here's one for money. I just got to drop this in here because all of us need some financial. And this is what she's clicking, family. And Diana is pyrite. Look at this. I set this up so that I could share this. Hold on. Let me see. Here it is right here. Pyrite. Hold on. One share. Let me turn it on. Check this out. Clicking the stones, the pyrite stones, to increase I am earthly wealth and abundance with pyrite stones, what they call fool's gold. And I know, Kafunya, you're going to have some of that pyrite around, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that.
And Unc, I wanted to also share to the group that I get no my only reward for this is to share the information that Gaia TV is having a whole series on the power of crystals.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And everyone who's listening, I want you to remember this message. And you didn't hear it just from me and Diana. You're hearing it from another source. Take note.
one day you're gonna be the best thing someone ever took a chance on. I see it in you. The way you love, the way you hustle, the way you carry yourself. You're not like the rest. But instead you're something different. Something that's hard to find, so when you find it, you make sure you take care of it. Never find it again.
Okay?
Yes,
I want y'all to hear that message. All right? And here's one more.
When a person walks away from you, they only reveal that they are not meant to be part of what God has for you.
All right.
You see, there are two types of people in the world. There are those who are attached and those who are assigned. When a person is attached to you, they are connected to you for as long as the relationship benefits them. But the moment you make a demand on the relationship, the moment you stop channeling benefits in their direction, they will detach from you. But there are people who are assigned to you. When a person is assigned to you, they're not in the relationship for what they can get out of it. They are in the relationship for what they can contribute to it. When a person walks away from you, they only reveal that they are not meant to be part of what God has for you.
Bam. And that's
Ashe.
Yeah. Because it's a full moon night and we're going to go surfing on that moonlight. I'll just close this out and bring Diana full front. Hold on. Stop sharing. Let me just close this out.
Rising Sun needs to write conscious hip hop.
I don't know about all that.
I mean, it's amazing. It just flows out of him.
You know what it is? Tonight, I'm feeling that. I feel like howling at the moon. I wish I was up in Bear Mountain. I would be. And it's an Aries full moon. Fire, fire, fire. Boom. So I want to thank you on this full moon cycle, Diana. I want to thank you, Kafunya. I want to thank all the listening audience. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Salam. Happy birthday, Salam. She's a Libra, Jerry, like Daniel. And you are. And Jerry's Libra, too. So I want to give you special acknowledgement, Jerry. Happy birthday, cycle time. Jerry, Daniel, and Salam.
Ashe, oh, happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Thank
That's what I tell people. Happy New Year.
Thank
Happy
you. Got a
solar
new year coming up
return.
shortly.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Diana, thank you for your
That's right.
soothing,
That's our
feminine
new year.
tapping. Thank you.
That's the
And
real
I
one.
thank the crystals. And I thank you, the listening audience. And I hope this was enriching and empowering.
Yes, it was. And I'm glad I was able to come in when I was able to come in.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
thank
thank
you
you,
for
Laconia.
Yes.
allowing me to speak, and give thanks my sister Diana for hosting such a wonderful event. I'm going to re-listen to the whole broadcast so I can get the fullness.
And I want to give a special acknowledgement to Afua. She tried to come on tonight, Jerry, but her computer smoked and acted up. So, but I guess one, two, three, four, five beautiful, lovely goddesses was enough for
Oh
this full
no.
moon night.
Is that right?
Yeah, because it was going to be six, but we got 60 people presently listening in the audience. But those have been the ebb and the flow. Diana, this was a very enriching show tonight. Thank you so much for picking full moon night.
Asheo.
Good night,
All
everybody.
Good
right.
night, Mama.
Okay, and what we're going to do as far as the closeout
Good
is,
night. Good night, sister. Thanks for the invitation, Hank.
yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you for being on. Here's the closeout music.